Hello, my dear Aquarius. This is your love and spirituality reading for the time between January the 1st to January 15, 2017 with me, Queen of Cups Tarot. If you want to support my channel, you can click the ad or view it for 30 seconds or to the end of the ad, whichever comes first. Thank you. It will help me keep up my service to my general viewers. I am very grateful for all of you watching, liking, and subscribing to my videos. My subscribers are now more than 20,000, which I never expected, so really know my gratitude for you. So I will start shuffling your cards, and I call the Divine with love and light, and I call the 4 archangels in the 4 corners of the world, and I call the 6 elements, earth, wind, fire, water, spirit, and ether, to join us here today and to give us a clear view reading for my dear Aquarius viewers. So I want my dear Aquarius to have love in their life, find themselves in loving relationship. I also want you to have creative success and to be able to walk on your highest path towards your highest destiny. So for my Aquarius viewers, the first half of January 2017, new year and everything. So I will also take the chance to tell you about the beautiful full moon in January 12. And Venus will also have reached its greatest eastern elongation, the 12th, and will be on its highest point over the horizon in the evening sky. So look for this bright planet in the western sky after sunset, so you will see it. Okay, now your reading is shuffled, ready. I will just tune in for a few seconds. So Aquarius, this is your future, this is your now, and this is the past. The now is probably the first half of January 2017, but whenever you watch this, it's probably the exact right time to see it. Okay. So the first card for you is the Sun. Very beautiful. The Sun for Aquarius. The Sun is it's some of the greatest card. It's the greatest card in the whole deck, I think. It's very much about happiness, joyfulness, reaching your goals, finding your purpose, finding your soul's purpose, because you have your soul here over your head. This is your inner child. This is your emotion, kind of guiding your inner child. Because it's like this, we are steered by our soul, the longing in our soul, but our emotions is also a very nice feedback. It's like you have both a map and a compass to guide you through life. So when you are disintuned with your soul and your feelings, it's kind of, you can't really go wrong. The Sun is also a card about attention, because light is coming from the sky and enlightening everything. And being enlightened is to be awake. It's to be having your attention. So try to keep up your attention. Try to hear what other people says. Feel what you feel. See what's happening around you, in yourself, in others. Try to be very, very much awake. The Sun is also a beautiful card about power, about having a lot of energy, and also a lot of energy being sent to you. So it seems like you get tremendous help and backup right now. And the Sun is also a card about marriage. It's like the highest state of love, when two whole people that's kind of enlightened is meeting up and engaging in holy matrimony. So this is a very great card about enlightenment, truth, being able to see things as they really are without illusions. If it would have been the Moon card, it's more illusions, it's more the subconscious, but here is you in an awakened state. So this is in the past, so it's probably already have come into terms. Oh, and here we have the Star as well. The Star card is actually Aquarius. So the stars are, of course, mostly often suns. So you can say that the sun in our solar system is our common sun, but it's a lot of suns out there. So it's kind of a lot of gods, you can say, because the sun on our in our solar system is keeping us together and keeping us alive. But there's also other suns in other solar system, and in the Milky Way we also have kind of a central sun, but it's more like a black hole. But it's our common consciousness, and it's getting like this. It's like a puzzle building up. You also have like this sun over your head, and every other person has it. So the stars is guidance from a bit more far from our solar system. So you can say that it's divine guidance, but it's also goals, because it was through the stars that our ancestors guided themselves over seas and over land. So this is how you set up your goals and decide where you want to go. And it's a lot of hope with this, and it's also a lot of support, having a lot of support from the divine, so you can kind of trust your instincts very good with those two cards. You also see that this heavenly being, this woman, is kind of mixing waters here in the river of time. So this is kind of things that were destined for you to happen, and it's not like they are out to get you with, traps and things like this. It's probably what you decided to go through before you came down to earth. So it seems actually like Aquarius is walking on their highest path of their destiny right now, starting to fulfill why you came here on earth. This is very beautiful. So you have some destined spot you were supposed to reach. They are kind of train station, and the tracks going between them are destined, but you also have your free will. So the track might linger more or stretch itself out, or you might take more time on you to get there from what you were thinking when you were going down on earth. So it's not really set in stone. It's just like those places. It's like pins where you are supposed to find yourself in your life, the different location. How to get there is really up to you and your free will. But you seem very guided here by the stars and the moon. The stars and the sun, sorry. No. So the next card for you is Five of Cups. So yet with all this guidance and all this walking on your highest path, you are not really happy or sadness comes. It's some bridge here that's made between people, and it's kind of sometimes you can feel that a relationship or a person, a friend, or something that's very significant for you is destined to be, but you can't really understand why it's not happening. You feel it. It's like the smell in your nose. It's destined. Why isn't this person coming? Why don't they want to participate? Why aren't they helping you? And sometimes it's like this. If you, Aquarius, is very much in tune, walking on your highest path, many people aren't. Okay, so even if you were supposed to meet on a special location, the other person might not have had time to get there, you see. So there might be a time of waiting, or a time when you are very disappointed on some other person's behavior, or they might be very disappointed on your behavior. So this is usually being very disappointed and let down in relationships. But there's still two cups standing, and we have a bridge here. So even if this heavenly creature, this mermaid, is kind of, I say heavenly because she's kind of a legend. We haven't seen any proof for her on Earth. So maybe she swam to Sirius or something. We don't know. So she's sad, okay, even though she has a treasure chest here. And the only reason seemed to be, those three spilled cups here. So that might be the only reason to why she's so sad. So something has happened. Maybe someone said the wrong word or did the wrong action or didn't support you really, or you didn't support them in the way that they were expected. And someone fell through and got really sad. Someone felt unsupported, unloved, not taken care of, not that people didn't take their feelings into consideration and things like this. Or maybe they are disappointed on themselves for some reason. So the bridge there seems very significant. You have suns and stars in the bridge. And here comes 4 of Wands. So it might have been a temporary break in a relationship or a temporary disappointment for you, but you have found your footing here. The 4 of Wands is a beautiful card because number 4 is very stable. Usually it's kind of closing us in, like in a house or in a tower, or in our values and different things that we have decided, our comfort zone, you can say, and survival skills and things like this. But the 4 of Wands is very beautiful because it has a foundation, but it's still very open. It has no walls, no roof. So it's kind of self-love. And, you know, being there for another person and being there for yourself, very stable, like with a very beautiful foundation. So even if a person gets disappointed on you, or you get disappointed on them, you have this common ground to stand on, which will probably bring you back together, or it will bring you to balance again because you love yourself. It's kind of this thing, aligning yourself with your soul, and then you know that even if disappointment comes and things happen, you still feel guided, you still feel safe, you still feel like you have earth underneath your feet, so holding up by gravity. And that's a beautiful thing. We are very loved by the earth. She's holding us and taking care of us. So this is harvest feast. Sometimes it's marriage, it's engagement, getting a new house. But often when it comes to me in dreams, symbolic, it's more dramatic. It's kind of, I can be building this house, you know, on a mountain, like a mountain range, maybe a little bit on the abyss, or some peculiar places, but it kind of shows me that you can find this self-love and be in comfort and safety wherever you are, even if you are in a really dangerous situation, because you feel like you take care of yourself. You kind of want the same thing that you want. You are aiming to the same goals that you have in the core of your soul. So that makes me at least feel very safe, and it ought to make you feel very safe as well, Aquarius, to always be able to fall back on yourself, on what you want, on what you need, on your soul's purpose, on feeling like you are the best version of yourself, or you're trying to be. So that's a very comfort in this. So it's kind of, you can't go wrong when you try this hard, or actually like calibrate yourself so you can tune into your own soul with both feelings and kind of this longing, the soul's longing. So here you have a King of Wands. The King of Wands is a fire person. It's a creator. And this is what I have been trying to tell you with aligning yourself with you. If you want something, if you have put up a goal, if your soul have a longing, you put up a goal, sometimes you get disappointed and fall, but you have this stability to fall back on. You being a creator. You being like, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to have, this is the right thing to do. And being very warm and generous to both yourself and others, being very warm and compassionate both to yourself and others. I love myself, I love you. So the one doesn't outrule the other. It's only ego that does this, not unconditional love. And unconditional love is for both you and the others, because we're all the same. So the King of Wands can indicate that it comes in a fire sign person in your life, or a person that's very creative and warm and passionate. They can sometimes be overly passionate, like jealous and things like this, but I don't see this here. I see this warm, compassionate self-love here with the Four of Wands. This is also, of course, mirroring something within you, because this is how it works. The world is a mirror. What you see on the outside of you and what's irritating you on the outside of you is probably what irritates you with you as well, or what makes you happy. And if you find someone on the outside that you love, they are probably mirroring an aspect within you that you also have, that you are beautiful, that you are smart, that you are strong, that you are warm and generous. And we are meeting other people to kind of expand ourselves and mirror ourselves in them, so we can expand as persons and have more and more knowledge for every day that goes by, and see things from millions of different sides, and therefore getting more and more wise. King of Wands is a very wise person. It sometimes indicates a soulmate for some of you. That was the past, and this is the now. So here's a little bit of another story. It's still this bridge, and it's someone saying no. It's energy coming in here, kind of the sun's ray, like kind of, something that's obvious, something that's for all to see, probably for this person as well, but they don't want to obey to this. It's kind of, no, I don't want this. So as I said, not all are on the same place. Even if the sun comes and say, well, it's time, this is your destiny, a person still has their free will and can say, no, I don't want it. I'm not going to bend. I'm not going to do this. I'm super afraid, or I'm super stubborn. I'm going to say no. But there's still the bridge here in the background as it is here. So it seems like it's some kind of contact already being made by two persons, or something that you are supposed to do, like a calling that you have. It's already there. It's already being built. The best is for, of course, everyone involved to kind of align themselves with a higher will, because their higher will is also their soul's will. But sometimes we get entangled in our own egos, and we say no, even though we know we shouldn't. But it's no big disaster. We are here to experience free will. It will just take more time, and people will get a bit disappointed on one another and things like this. But here it's an 8 of Wands, and it comes underneath a star card. So it seems like even though it's a resistance, the star is kind of promising that this will settle. It will balance itself out. It will be very much like it was supposed to be, because here is the sun's rays, number 8. You have 7 and then 8. They are interrupted, not resisted. Your soul's intentions is not resisted by you. It's like when you have a feeling, say that you have a headache. Most people doesn't like to have a headache, so they try to resist it. And what happens when they resist it? They heighten their shoulder, try to tense against the headache is getting worse. If you try to relax into a headache and really feel the headache and how it moves in your head and everything, probably the headache wants to expand your blood vessels for some reason, or it's some other reason to you having this headache. So if you are kind of lining yourself with your body, helping it like you would, almost like when people give birth to a child, they also need to go with the pain to expand, and this might be the same thing with the headache. So non-resistance is always less painful than resistance. The resistance is going to build up a wall against energy coming, and so it's going to be like a fight between you and the headache. So better to align yourself with this. I don't want to compare maybe your relationship to a headache, but I'm trying to make it very clear for you that this is someone resisting an energy that wants to push through. And sometimes this energy isn't feeling very nice, but it's probably there for a nice reason. Your feelings always wants to help you, and the divine always wants to help you. This is heavenly energy coming in kind of from outer space, since it's solar rays. So, and this card is usually about forgiveness, and the star card is about healing. So it seems like something is about to be healed and maybe talked through truthfully and openly. And the next card is the Chariot, so that's a beautiful thing. It seems like the heaven is very resistant here. They want to have all the energy in the Chariot, even if it's like people resisting this or certain circumstances that hasn't been like, you know, in exact divine timing. It's pushed to be like this. This is like two people in the same Chariot, like a lover's couple, friends, family, co-workers. Like it can also be like what I said with you having some kind of mission or goal or creative work to be done in a company or somewhere else. So both those forces are in the Chariot now, exactly as they were supposed to be. So both parties are on the train, it seems. And it's lifting more like an aeroplane here above the clouds, but it's still this with the destiny touch. And it's a black horse, that's Sagittarius, and this it's Cancer. So it's kind of both this giving energy and more receptive energy and the more penetrating energy, you can say. Sagittarius is hasty moving. It's like an arrow, and Cancer is more receptive, and it's sometimes more like the bow, like this is home and this is adventure. But it's also different things like being a whole person. If you only are nice all the time, you won't get your will through, and your things that you were supposed to do, you can't do them because you don't use your force. And if you only use force and not compassion, people won't listen to you, and they will say, go away, and you won't reach your goal then either. So you need to be a total person, not only being nice or being strong. It's very much like a long list of different aspects, because this is how it is on Earth. We are opposites, and these opposites attracts and wants to get together into a wholeness. And the wholeness is how we are when we are not on Earth. But now we are on Earth, and we are still need to try to get this show on the road, to get the people together to do the thing that we were supposed to do. And here we have the moon for the first time. It's also a beautiful guidance system to the subconscious. So it might be that one of the aspects in this Chariot needs to be led here subconsciously, because maybe they can't do it in the awakened state. So subconsciously, to being led to a certain place might be through maybe sometimes pain. That you are more afraid of not doing this than doing it. So this might be how heaven kind of push you in doing the right thing, to be a little bit in your fears, in the subconscious, in the illusions. So even if you're not awake, they can make you walk like a dream walker to your goal. The next card is Six of Swords. So this is, again, someone is waking up here. The Six of Swords is a card of harmony and harmony within thoughts, and actually taking the experience that you were supposed to do, to get and to make something out of it, kind of self-realization. Also realizing what you feel in your heart, and open your heart and start talking. Start being I have said this before, it's like this boat is going over the river Styx, like a person has died and they are going to meet their maker. This is the kind of moment in time when you realize you have learned something from past experience, and it's like this eureka moment, and you feel both, often you feel rather grateful to whatever experience you have been through, even if it was hurtful at a time, because it has given you some experience and a new vision. And also the most important thing is to communicate what's in your heart, so other people can understand you too, and other people can make this experience too, and learn from you maybe what you have learned. And the next card is Eight of Swords. So sometimes it can be hard to tell other people what you have experienced if they don't want to listen. So this is a person being blindfolded. They have also like being wrapped around with a rope, and they have a lot of swords kind of fencing them in. This is usually a prison that was once made of other people. Like when you tell a person that no, your feeling isn't right, mommy and daddy is not arguing. This is the most simple explanation because many people can recognize. So you can see this in movies many times, for example. And so this is when you kind of split yourself from aligning with your soul, because you feel something with your whole body. Your whole system is saying mommy and daddy is arguing, but the grown-ups on the outside is saying no, you're wrong, and they are the one that are supposed to guide you through this life, so you believe them. And therefore you stop listening to yourself, and then you have made a person of your own making. It might come from a lot of sources, like being raised, teachers in school, friends, workplaces, lovers, people teaching you a lot of things that make you kind of question yourself and not align with yourself. So you might have a person a bit scared in front of you that you're trying to convince with something, and they have learned to listen to other voices. And when you tell them your experience of following your heart and aligning yourself with yourself and self-love and being able to open up and talking about your emotions, talking about the truth, what's in your heart, they might have learned that they should always distrust their heart, because they have learned from other people that no, it's not true. What my heart wants and what's truth isn't the same. So you will have a bit of problem here, convincing a person or yourself that the heavenly way is the right way, because they have often been disappointed, listening to their feelings and getting negative feedback from other people. Do you think I love you? How stupid are you? Or why did you do that thing? Well, I felt like it was the best thing to do. Oh, look how things went now because of your decision. So many people might have, cornered this person in, so they have lost their own strength. They have lost their power to create. It's a creator that's in prison. It's kind of when we throw, our poets and our scientists and everything during the Second World War. A lot of those people were either in concentration camps or in Siberia. So this is how we treat people that are prophets as well, or that speaks from their heart or their soul. So they think that they are wrong. But this girl here, she has a castle right behind her. So if she would just take off all the other people's assumption of her and what they have told her and just turn around, she would face herself and see her own greatness and what a creator she could be. So this might be your job to help this person a little bit, or it's your job to help yourself to kind of realize this. So this was your now, and this is your future. In the future, this story continues with locking yourself in, but also it's kind of a good thing here, because you have gone as far as you could. You run right through this wall here, and now you can't fight anymore. You can't. It's kind of, you have run out of fuel, because to get fuel, you need to walk on your highest spiritual path. When you don't, you need to get fuel from other things, maybe winner on lottery, being a good worker, so you get someone that pats you on the shoulder or raise your salary. You can also get your energy from a lot of other things. But when you align yourself with your soul, you will get a lot of energy straight from your soul. But now you have running in the wrong direction, kind of doing something for others that wasn't really for you. So you're exhausted and you can't run anymore. So this is also a way that heaven kind of force you to come to your destined station. They let you run out of fuel, running the wrong direction. So this seems to be what's happening here. Sometimes this could be two people not speaking to each other, it's the silent treatment a little bit, but it's because both are exhausted, maybe from don't want to fight anymore, or maybe you have an impossible situation in your family, at work, school, with friends, whatever, that's kind of make you this exhausted, so you don't know, you don't have any more solutions. So it's time to rest, it seems. It's time to give this a rest, and to kind of take the time to maybe let everyone come to the place where they were supposed to be. Let it take a little time for the divine timing to catch up. Maybe you have been running too fast as well. So take care of your health in this situation. Running on fumes is not going to help your body. So eat very good food and rest a lot and do funny things. Maybe not the most exhausting things, but things that put a smile on your face anyway. So the next card is the Emperor. And the Emperor is a very strong energy. It comes underneath the star and the Eight of Wands. So it's like being sent like an emperor here from God. In this fairy tale fashion. So someone is resisting and someone needs to take the leadership here, it seems. It might be you, or it might be the fire sign, because this is an Aries. We had a Leo person before, but anyway, fire is spiritual energy. It's by being guided by your flamey heart and your flamey passion, and this is what I want to do. It's kind of a energy that's hard to stop. But this Emperor is a great person because he's taking responsibility also for others. He has an armor, which you can dislike a little bit because it usually talks about ego, me, how I will protect me. And he doesn't have any armor on his children, but he doesn't expect them to go to war either. So we'll see what it will be, because this is peace. Like peace, but without any really negotiation. It's just silence. The weapon has been put down. And here you have an Emperor. That's usually the one that leads this battle. And he seems to be very in tune with the stars here and the sun's rays and things like this. So he has kind of got his crown from God. So I don't want you to make you overly upblown with your ego here, but it seems like someone needs to take leadership in this situation and actually follow the stars and the guidance, even though it might feel like stamping on someone else, not in a bad way, but if you have a person in your surrounding that's a little bit fragile and don't trust themselves, you might want to be very cautious with them usually, so they don't run and hide or things like this. But here it seems like a more firm hand is needed, like, well, I've seen this and this is how it is and this is what I want and this is what I envision. So maybe a little bit more push could be necessary. And here we have a Seven of Pentacles, and it's this with the chariot thing, like getting all the people in the chariot. It seems again to take some time, but the bet is not off. It's still the stars, the chariot will see what's coming here, but this is kind of waiting for harvest, and this is, peace, kind of half peace between two warring tribes. And here is like this king, this emperor is waiting for someone to grow up a little bit maybe, or to mature. The Seven of Pentacles has a lot of potential, but it's also very boring. It's kind of waiting for a pregnancy, or as I said, waiting for divine timing. It seems to be the issue here in this reading, that someone might be a little bit ahead of someone else and they need to wait for them to catch up and have a little patience. I understand that many of my viewers hate the words patience, but it's like this. So, Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups is a person that doesn't know what they are, what they stand for. There's no substance. They have no guidance system. They can't know what they want because they have learned to not feel their feelings, to not trust their intuition, things like this. It's usually a very masculine things, like, well, step up and dry your tears, act like a boy. It's kind of this energy. So when you have been treated like this, it's no wonder you don't understand your feelings or you can't get in contact with them. So this person, this magician here, is saying, start looking on what you want. What are you going to create? What do you want in your life? You need to start dreaming for your future, or nothing will be. So the stars here, the chariot, and then no substance. So this is clearly someone that doesn't get contact with their intuition. They are too afraid, probably. This is a little bit like the moon and illusion and nightmares and being in a swamp, maybe being eaten by crocodiles, things like this. So they are not really happy here, but they don't know the way out either, because they don't have the connection with their guidance system, with their feelings, with their intuition. They might only want to use logic, and this won't work, because the logic only holds kind of your the smallest memory on your computer or your phone. The RAM memory is, we said in Sweden. I don't know what you said in other countries, but it would be better to have contact with your whole hard drive or the whole memory, like your subconscious, and it's all this with the feelings, the tinglings, the intuition, the hopes and dreams and things. So you need to get in contact with this. Whoever is resisting and the other one are patiently waiting for you to wake up. And the next card is Five of Swords. So you need to understand that you have with a person to do that doesn't want to be humiliated again. They don't want to hear again that they are doing the wrong thing, or that they are telling their emotions to someone that doesn't listen. They don't want to break their heart again. They don't want to be humiliated. They don't want to be put on this spot. So therefore you might have felt like being the emperor in this situation and leading with a hard hand is problematic, because whatever you do, they might take it as an offense and will back into their little prison cell again and say, well, what was it I told you? You think I do everything wrong. So you need to have silk gloves in this situation. This is a person being very scared. Also, maybe pride is the only thing they have left. Okay, they have done everything to try to adjust themselves to being a good person, put themselves to prison, not listening to their own feelings, their own intuition. So they are just a well-behaved person. And the only thing that they might have left is their pride in themselves, like, I'm a good person, I do a good job, I'm trying my best here. So you need to be very, very skilled with a person like this. Maybe you need to give more of yourself than you are prepared to do, and like be very open, very vulnerable, very truthful, very like, yes, I want you in my chariot, I want us to do this thing together, and support, give them a lot of support every time they kind of try to tell about their feelings, or try to open up a little bit, or try to fantasize a little bit about the future. Don't slap them on the fingers because they are dreaming the wrong thing or thinking the wrong thing or whatever. Try to encourage them, because this is a person slowly, maybe, hopefully, waking up to be able to follow their own intuition, and finally, after maybe a whole grown-up life, not listening to themselves. Okay. So I will take some cards for you from the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms, to see what's going on with Aquarius. So, yes, so we have a person walking a little bit in the shadow land here, the Shadow Queen, like a person that doesn't know, and they need to acquire knowledge. They need to, they are very insecure, and people like this can be very skilled at emotional manipulation, because they have been emotionally manipulated, and they know how to do this against others. So be very awake and see what they are doing, but not judge them so much, okay? And try to understand why they have come to be like this, why they are walking here. They are trying to solve this in the best way they can, but they go in the darkness because they have never learned to trust their feelings and their intuition, so they don't really know. And here you have the Metal King. So it's what I said, the only thing that they have left are their pride. So they might be very hard to reach and very confused underneath this disciplined face and this armor and their boundaries. So try to be compassionate and let them run around like confused chickens for a while, and every time they run towards your direction, you give them some calm advice and a pat on the shoulder. So eventually they might calm down and see that you're not so dangerous, maybe. Okay. So past life oracle cards. Oh, probably those. So orphan and food and hunger. Okay. So this might be as both parties are feeling. The one that gives a lot of security and kind of open up their heart and really tell, like, well, I think that this is destined to be. They feel like they don't get their needs met from this person, being very worried and don't want to say yes, don't want to say no, because they don't have anything to stand on. They don't know. They haven't a support system for themselves, so no guidance system. And it's kind of being an orphan. Like no one of you are getting their needs met. Both are feeling very unloved and unsupported and things like this. And it seems like this is what's needed to be solved. That both parties need to get the needs met and be taken care of. So maybe the person that sees this needs to be the one that starts doing this, even though the other one might, it's like they don't have any arms to hug you with, or don't have any arms to support you with, because someone has chopped them off. Very gruesome picture, I understand this, but so you can understand that they don't have the skill right now. But if you give them this love and support and fill their needs and be their parents a little bit, they might crack open, like a nutshell, and something beautiful might come out of this metal king thingy that they have to protect themselves and their orphan inner child. So it's a very common picture with people being afraid of their needs not getting met, so therefore they kind of imprison themselves and they can never get their needs met. This is how we stop ourselves from getting loved, by not knowing what we want, not showing what we want, not showing that we are open for business, not because we have our ego, we have our pride. We are never ever going to let someone know. So this metal king, because we have been used before, used and abused and neglected. So it seems like a karma that wants to be solved between two persons, and you might both feel really like this, but one needs to take the first step. One has a little bit more on their feet, being more in contact with the divine. So this is what I see. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I was aiming for 30 minutes this time, and I didn't succeed, so we can see that anyway. So, but thank you for watching this far, and I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Take really good care. Okay, bye bye.